What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stick Theory. Today we're going to be joined by StringSnake Lacrosse. He's a senior in high school up in Northern Illinois. Can't wait for y'all to hear this episode. He's been stringing probably 2 years, but he said playing for three, so he got an early start on it. But yeah, super fun conversation, and can't wait for y'all to hear it. All right, Trenton or StringSnake Lacrosse, thank you so much for joining the Stick Theory podcast. What we'd like to start with on here is how'd you go with the name StringSnake?
Um, Honestly, I was thinking of like alliteration, it's kind of you think of I was thinking of animals that go
Yeah.
with something, I kind of thought of like the string shark, on Instagram, and I was like kind of like that where he had alliteration in it, so I decided to think of a animal that works well, and I thought of string snake. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, nice and simple. I love it. That's kind of it's similar to how a couple of the other guys have got their names. There's like they saw something else that like kind of inspired them, and they're just like, yeah, I'll kind of spin it my own. So that's awesome. So what got you into lacrosse in the first place? I know you've mentioned you haven't been playing super long, so
honestly, I've been playing football all my life, like
okay.
12 years. So I was honestly just looking for something to do in the spring, and then one of my friends has been playing for a long time, and he got me into it and started playing and fell in love with it. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. So what kind of led you to the stringing side of it? Because if you're not playing so long, a lot of people like they play for a couple of years and they're just like, yeah, I'll learn to string. It seems like you started right away.
Yeah, I started the summer of my freshman year, so
Hmm.
right after, and so my coach at the time was doing stringing for like the whole team and stuff like that, and he was pretty good at it. Like he was, um, but he just took like a long time to do it, and it was just like kind of got me a little frustrated. So
Yeah.
over the summer, I decided to just try stringing one of my own, and then from there, one of my friends asked me to do it, and then I kind of just slowly built up from there. Started posting all the sticks that I do on TikTok and Instagram, and then
Yeah.
kind of snowballed from there. And now we're here. So,
That's awesome. Well, so what do you remember the first stick you ever got to a string?
it was a Warrior Burn Next. It was just some random starter stick.
Yeah.
It was like some Hero 3. It was a terrible mid pocket. It was, I mean, I followed like ECD Greg's tutorials, and I mean it was okay. It just it like had so much whip. It was
Yeah.
just, but I mean it worked, and it got me into it. So that's
Yeah. Hey, we all got to start somewhere. I mean, a bunch of these
yeah.
people, even like I'll point to a couple of guys who've been out here, like Longshore and everything. Like, they have their first sticks they strung. They're just like, yeah, it's probably like the worst stick you've ever seen. So
Yeah.
now you've got 1,000 followers on Instagram and you're kind of popping off. So that's awesome. So what's changed most about your process of stringing since obviously the first one, you're that Warrior Burn Next. You're saying it's probably not the greatest.
Yeah.
What's changed the most in like your process and how you approach stringing?
Um Honestly, it's kind of a lot of trial and error. I don't really like I couldn't say there's a lot of times where I will go with one pocket and stick with one pocket on a head. I will usually do it like once or twice just to like, because I mean all the heads are different. It's it's just a lot of trial and error for me, I would guess. I would say I like to try a bunch of things and throw a lot of things at the wall and see what sticks,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, that's honestly kind of what I did the first time, and it's just kind of evolved into like me. Like now I know what I'm doing, but it's just I like trying a whole bunch of things and seeing whatever works out.
Yeah. So what are you, would you say you're more performance focused or aesthetic driven, or do you like to maintain a balance?
I like to maintain a balance. I think I'd say I'm a little bit more performance driven just because,
Hmm.
something can't look good if you're thrown all over the place. But,
Yeah.
I do like to focus a little bit on the aesthetics because, look good, feel good, play good is
Yeah.
kind of a big part. But I really think that it's 95, maybe 90% performance and
Hmm.
then maybe like 10% appearance and stuff like that.
Yeah. So obviously player positions, right? Back with like the old heads and old meshes, like hard meshes, you'd say, oh, attackman had low pockets, poles had high pockets. Do you still approach it that way, or do you find it more player to player?
I find it more player to player. Honestly, there's a lot of guys on my team who are deep pulls using low pockets.
Hmm.
I'm still kind of a high pocket guy, but I think it's really all personal preference, and there's no like one size fits all at all. Because there's attackmen with high pockets.
Yeah.
It's all over the place, and it's just whatever suits you the best.
Yeah. What's your current? It's you mentioned you're a high pocket, so I'm assuming are you a pole by nature?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So what's your current setup you're rocking?
I'm rocking a gate D with kind of a mid high, and then it's Jima X10, and then
Okay.
so and then it's like
Yeah.
two shooters and then one stacked nylon, and that's what I've been running with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which gate D is it?
It's the 2C, so it's
2C.
the wider one.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I've played around with it a couple times. A couple of my buddies really like it a lot. They like the wide face shape, but it's still narrow at the bottom, so they have a bit more control.
That's one of my favorite parts about it. That's
Yeah. Yeah. I wish the OG gate had stuck around though. I like the hooks. I
yeah.
have two sitting on my wall right now because they don't make them anymore, but I wish it could stay around. So you're using the gate D2s and a lot. What are some other current heads meshes out that you just kind of enjoy using or like to string?
I recently just got a 3V, and
Okay.
those are nice. I like those. Those are it's a nice improvement. I also the Delta I used a lot this season. That was kind of my backup. Um, I've seen a lot of guys using the Optic Force. I've strung a couple of those, and those are I love those. Those are fun heads to string. You know, you can put whatever you want in them, and it'll work. I have guys who like swear by them, and it's those are some of my favorites to string.
Yeah. Awesome. So I assume are you stringing all the six on your team at this point, or does your coach still string a bit?
That coach left, so
Okay.
I'm stringing all of them.
That's
So and
awesome.
then I'm stringing a lot of the six in the area for all the high
Hmm.
schools. So
Yeah.
um, yeah,
That's awesome. That's kind of how it all starts. You start with your team, and then hey,
and
you start having other teams that reach out. And you say, "Hey, man, can you string my stick?" And then soon you almost have too many sticks to string.
yeah, there was.
So what's your favorite mesh right now?
Ooh, it's probably that's a good question. It's probably Jima X10
Okay,
or I really like that mesh. Or the Mesh Dynasty Divine 9. Those are the two that I like the most.
yeah, those are two sleeper picks right there. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people have mentioned those yet, so I love something that's a little different right there. So with those meshes and everything, are there any stuff that you think the industry like you'd like to see in a mesh, or do you think is it almost at a point where it can't get much better?
I honestly think it can't get much better. I mean, there's no I couldn't say that there's like a bad mesh out there.
Hmm.
I mean, there's some that are better than others, but I really don't think that there's a like guaranteed bad mesh. I mean, you could use whatever and it'll perform well. I really don't think that like we can go much higher with um like performance of mesh. I mean, I know there's a lot of like newer mesh coming in, like Armor Mesh and Antrea
Yeah,
Mesh and stuff like that, but I really think we've kind of plateaued at
yeah.
performance.
I'd probably be right there with you. I mean, if someone comes out with something better, that'll be awesome. I just can't visualize myself how it gets much. Like my personal preference right now is the Hero 4. I
Yeah,
love the Hero 4. It breaks in nice, super smooth. Whereas Shrinking's good for me, but I don't like how grippy it is to the
yeah,
ball, is what I've noticed. It just like loves to hug it, and I'm like, I don't know if I need that much extra like snap on it.
yeah. I like the Hero 4 too. That's probably my third. I've strung a lot of that, and I really like that mesh. String King, I'm kind of the same way. I've seen a lot of that rip too,
Yeah.
so I kind of stay away from that. But you know, it's still a good mesh. It's just
It's not your preference. Everyone has their
yeah,
own cup of tea. Like, I mean, you're throwing out Jim and Mesh Dynasty as your top two, so
yeah.
I love that. So, if you could kind of have a chance to design your dream head, what would it look like?
It would probably be probably a defensive head. I would
Hmm.
say similar to the Gate D with the flare, where it's tighter on the bottom rail and then flares out. Um, Probably really stiff.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a like if you mix the Delta and the Gate D together, that's probably like my dream head.
Yeah.
If I were to design one, that would be my
So
top.
kind of like the angle of the delta, make those ground balls a bit easier because those are my biggest problems with the gate heads is I feel like they just are so flat that like ground balls, yeah, they have that little scoop at the end, but it just sometimes makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah. So obviously dream head, what would your dream mesh look like that you could go in there?
probably 9 diamond because I just like the stringability of that.
Hmm.
And then I feel like sometimes with like the Mesh Dynasty, they can be a little small almost, like they're not wide enough.
Yeah.
So I'd say like say the Mesh Dynasty Divine 9 just a little wider. That's probably
Hmm.
my dream mesh because it's like certain times with that Divine 9, it's almost hard to get like the pocket you want.
Yeah.
So that would probably be my dream mesh, just a little wider Divine 9.
Yeah, I love that answer. So obviously lacrosse, I mean, you've learned this, you've been playing the sport for 3 years now, you were a football guy. It's got a pretty good community, especially within that, there's a lot of niches, the stringing community being one of them.
Mhm.
So kind of how do you see this community evolving? You're on the younger side of the community, so you've obviously got a chance to kind of grow through that. So kind of what are your thoughts on that? How has it helped you?
Um, I think it's in the stringing community, it's a lot of like supportive people. It's
Hmm.
really easy to like I was kind of feeling out the waters when I first started. I wasn't really sure what I was doing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people. I'd like to shout out Uzumaki Stringing. He's
Yeah.
always been super nice. Um, it's just a lot of like supportive people who understand what you're doing. And I think with a lot of like new young guys coming up, I think
Hmm.
there's gonna be a lot more innovation because I know there's like a lot of people that have been in the community for a long time and they know what they're doing, they're pushing the boundaries and stuff. um and I think having the amount of like experienced people and new people coming in, it's just gonna make the whole community better because innovation always pushes everything forward, and
Yeah.
it's gonna and like diversity strengthens
Hmm.
everything. So I think um it's a good mix of experience and like new guys coming up. So
Yeah. So to go a little deeper on that, like social media, for example, like you have your Instagram, you've gotten
mhm.
up to over 1,000 followers now. It gives you a lot of chance to connect with people. How do you think that has kind of obviously it's helped, but like what are some of the tangible ways you think it's helped the streaming community?
um, I think honestly, many people would attest to this. It's probably where you get most of your um or like a solid chunk of your outreach and stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
really good for getting your name out there. I have a lot of people who had just seen my stuff and reached out, and it just makes things easier. I mean, it's always going to play a part in life, but I think it's going to help a lot of like it's going to help you push out your
Yeah.
stuff, and it's going to help with like getting eyes on it. And I think it's just an overall positive. I mean, there are the negatives, but I'd say it's an overall positive for like starting a business and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to be right there with you. I said this on a couple episodes, so I'm probably beating a dead horse, but I'll take this podcast, for example. I kind
Mhm.
of just threw the idea, I've had the idea for a couple weeks. I was like, you know what? I'll make the Instagram, start reaching out to people, see what happens. I have like 32 stringers and being like, yeah, man, I'd love to come on. I'm like, oh, now we actually have to like schedule this and like hit the ground running. But I mean, it's been awesome. Like the amount of support this community has is just astronomical. And like my favorite part is Lars, for example. When I first started stringing, I had a question for like the sidewall jet. I was like, hey man, like how do I do this? And he's like, just do like X, Y, Z. I'm like, oh, you're a massive creator and you're taking the time out to like respond to my question. Like that was super awesome for me.
I had that exact same experience. I strung flex mesh for the first time. I had no idea what I was doing, and I reached out to him, and he gave me a whole bunch of advice, and it was great.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. Hopefully, we're getting him on soon, so that'll be
Hopefully,
good. So
that'll
you
be fun
mentioned him
to.
earlier, Uzumaki stringing. Any other stringers you'd love to shout out, kind of helping you along your journey?
Um, Tendy stringing as well. He's
Okay.
been super supportive. Trying to think, there's a bunch. Of course, Sidewall Jedi. He's been super nice. I'd say those are probably my top three who have
Hmm.
been super supportive. I mean, of course, there's hundreds that have been super nice, but those are probably my top three that I have the most connection with.
Yeah. So you've been stringing for a couple years now. What would be some advice you would give to some of these younger players or just newer stringers getting into the space?
I'd honestly say, just try as much as possible. I would say probably what I did at least was I went to my local Play It Again, bought a stick and just strung it as many times as I could, with just putting whatever pocket possible in it.
Hmm.
And that just gave me a lot of uh, experience and like kind of knowledge of using different knots and stuff like that. And I think that's probably the best way to learn is just keep trying stuff, see what sticks. And it's just I'd say it's that. And it's really just, um, and push yourself to try new things is
Yeah.
another thing that I would say. I mean, I know it's a little like out of your comfort zone. You might do it wrong the first time, but it's always gonna find a way to work out. I tried traditional, I'd say a year and a half ago, and the first one, that was terrible. It was not pretty.
I feel like everyone says.
Yeah, it was rough. It was very rough. But I'd say now, like I have a lot of fun stringing traditional, and I at first I was like, I'm just gonna stick with mesh. That was my philosophy where I'm not going to string traditional or women's or anything like that. And then I just went out and tried it and then had a ton of fun doing it. So it's
Yeah.
just try new things.
Yeah, I love that. Traditional and women stuff is something I haven't taken the dive into yet, but after this, I might have to take a swing at it and see what happens.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, sir. All right, so the way we'd like to end a lot of these is we like to call it a rapid fire round. So I'm just going to ask you a series of questions. You're just going to give me the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay.
All right, most underrated head of all time.
Stallion 900.
Love that answer. All right, flip side, most overrated head of all time.
Oh, Ion.
You're the third person to say that one, Greg. Greg, we got to do something about this, man. This is the third person to say it. Tape or no tape on the stick?
Tape.
Tape. What's your favorite head to string?
Um, Stallion 900.
Staying 900. I think I can't remember who it was. That's on me. Someone else also loved the Stallion 900, and it's a great head. They said they actually preferred it to the 1K. I don't know if you're in that boat.
I do too. I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And last one we like to go with. What's your obviously you mentioned favorite mesh, but what's your favorite string to use?
I usually use Jima cross lace spools. That's my
Okay.
favorite.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm not a big. I usually don't use the sidewall. Like the specific sidewall. I'll
Yeah.
use cross lace, but it's a toss up.
Yeah. What do you like about the cross lace as opposed to the sidewalls?
Um, I think it's just a little bit more flexibility.
Hmm.
It's not as. I mean, it stretches a little bit more, I would say, but I also like being able to use it as cross lace as well. So I can just, buy one spool, use it for a bunch of different things instead of sidewall. You're kind of locked into just using it as sidewall. So I think that's probably why. And I just use it a bunch. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, StringSnake, thank you so much for coming on Stick Figure. This is an awesome episode. Where can listeners find your work and reach out to you?
on Instagram, I think it's just at StringSnake or StringSnake Lax or something along those lines.
StringSnake Lax.
That's it. Okay. I always forget. But you can find me on TikTok on the same username. And then Facebook. I also have a Facebook
Awesome.
under String Snake Lacrosse. So you can find me all on there. And then yeah.
Awesome. Well, StringSnake, thank you so much for joining Stick Theory. And to everyone listening, make sure you, after seeing this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Let's pump these subscribers and engagement up. And make sure to just keep following along this journey. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.